G'day, welcome to Project Smith Tech. Now we're going to get straight into it today. Today we're going to have a look at if gaming really makes a difference. With the recent rumors of Samsung bringing out a new drive, and I also did read an article saying that an M.2 drive working at Gen 4 or an M.2 Gen 5 but only working at 2 lanes, so you had the choice of 2. And I was reading the article and it caused me the prompt. It's like, for somebody who's into tech and whatnot, the fact that they wanted supply these. Now, I did investigate further and they're talking about Samsung releasing reasonable Gen 5 drives, which is pretty exciting actually, even though none of my systems can currently take it. But I thought this would be a good opportunity. So I want to do some game testing. And does the speed of the hard drive affect how the game plays? Now for this drive, we've got, well, a sequential read of 3,500 per second. For this, we've got around 500. It's going to be a little bit faster, but 500 per second. And this, I'm not actually sure. This is a 5,400 RPM drive. So I'm tipping, although I don't know, this will read, I'm thinking about 80 per second. So we've got a huge contrast between something very quick, I mean, good enough, and the good old spinning rust, as we call it. For the system, we're going my good old 9900 KS. Now, I have introduced this system quite a bit before, although I do have two M.2 running in RAID 0. You won't be able to see that there. Let's see if I pick it up a little bit. There we go. We can see both the drives. To me, this seems like a pretty good system to do this game testing on, so it's not, I'm not going completely overkill with the throughput. Now, for the game that we're going to be testing today, it's only going to be one. It's going to be Forspoken, which is the most criminally underrated game that I've seen in my time. And I thought it was a pretty good game. So hopefully we'll get to see if there's any issues between running of the hard drives. Okay, so we'll just quickly go over the numbers that I have here. This is using the inbuilt benchmark. As you can see with the hard drive, this is spinning at 5,400 RPM. And you can see the numbers that it took to load each stage. Now, as you can see, going from this hard drive to the Samsung SSD, the time shrank quite a lot. And moreover, going to the M.2 drives, although the improvement was less overall, but still in some cases, we're still seeing a halving in load times. So, but overall, Forspoken wasn't necessarily storage sensitive in terms of gameplay, although there was some instances where running the hard drive really did hold the process up a bit. So I would definitely recommend going SSD. And in my particular situation, each of these drives, apart from the M.2, was in optimal mode. So if I had a lot of stuff stored on the hard drive, these numbers would have been even greater and the gameplay would have suffered because of it. But in no time through any of these drives while testing did I ever have a loading screen. So all three of these drives did do its job. In conclusion, Forspoken has a lot of natural environment, so parts of the recording not quite right. I do go into it though, so if you want to keep watching, yeah, feel free to continue. I just want to quickly show you my recording settings. Now we want to go to output recording. So as you can see, I've got it to variable bitrate. As you can see, I've got a relatively modest bitrate, but max bitrate. So I've allowed it to be variable and I've gave it a very generous upper limit. Let's just have a look how well it records. So I'm just gonna have a...
What were we supposed to be doing again?
Quick...
Don't look at me. Think, why don't you?
Okay, we just have a look at the background, just in the bridges. Let's see how that records. So what I'm trying to say, so because this game doesn't actually have a lot of straight edges, say like you would in a city environment, again, just have a look at the background. Bridges is a straight line, so that should have no problem. Now it's going to compress the render where possible, but let's see how bad it is in the recording. Now, okay, so let's change one thing. Now we've got it on constant bit rate and we've got a very generous 30,000 kilobits a second. Let's see how it records. So we're gonna have a attempt to look at any artifacting in the background. So how's that all being rendered? Let's have a look at the background. So as you can tell, this is a lot better. This is the mechanical drive. Now what I'm trying to do is, yes, load up the hard drive, but as you can see, the hard drive is pretty well optimized. I gotta tell you, like, the graphics of this game is very good. Like, I like the different landscapes. And as you can see, I'm having absolutely
Alright,
no
down
trouble
we go.
loading.
You won't be coming back that way, you realize?
A little
You
bit
trying
late
to
for
talk
that.
me out of this? Ha!
And I've played this for quite a bit, and I can't seem to provoke a loading screen because the map can't load fast enough due to the hard drive not keeping up. Although I did try and look at the hard drive specs while playing. Now, one area that it will really struggle in is, so for example, if you want to go to the map somewhere, it just takes a really long time. So look at that. So when you're running SSDs, this isn't a problem. And you don't need to load up. So something as simple as like just the map menu. There we go, getting us a stutter. So I don't know if that's just because AMD.
Gotta keep moving. Time is money.
Yes, and money is, completely useless in our view.
Well, I'll have to agree with you, Frey and Cuff. I don't know. The money's always right. I don't know how he got that wrong. Okay, that's as much as we can learn from run it on the slowest drive. I'll now go to install it on the single SSD. Okay, so this is with the Samsung 860. Just a standard SSD. So as you can see, so loading up the map, there's very little hitching in comparison to the mechanical hard drive that we were running before.
Why are we here again?
Please tell me you're joking.
Anyway, as the final part of the video, this is the M.2 that I'm currently running in RAID 0. So as you can see, it's having no problems scaling the map. There isn't that excessive load. A bit of hitch in there. But this is the only difference that I've noticed. Well, I wouldn't say the only difference, but if you've got a mechanical hard drive and you've got it running in a very optimal setting, it actually will do the job. So with this video, I was hoping that there was a little bit of a difference, but if it works, it works. But would I recommend running this game on a spinning hard drive with, say, anything else but the game on it? No. And would I recommend running the game on the hard drive in general? So when I say hard drive, I mean the spinning Rust, not the SSD or the M.2. No, definitely not. And I'd recommend, if you've got it, run M.2. Otherwise, an SSD will do fine. This game is fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous. And I think I'm going to conclude it here. So thank you very much for watching. Project Smith Tech signing out. Peace.